sounds of college football 96 continue. This week, we stop in Dallas. ABC Sports College Football presents a battle between Oklahoma at 0-4 and the 3-2 Texas Longhorns, a Big 12 South Division clash. 60 miles north of Dallas, the Red River meanders across the plains, separating Oklahoma from Texas. Today, the Sooners have encroached on the border and descended on the Texas State Fairgrounds to take on their neighbors to the south, the Texas Longhorns.
Howdy, folks. This is Big Tex. Welcome back to the Red River Shootout between the Oklahoma Sooners and Texas Longhorns, in the state where everything we do is big.
Jeremy Alexander kicking off for Oklahoma. Texas receiving. It's Westbrook and Mitchell. That's Mitchell. Sean Mitchell out to the 32-yard line, which is where the Texas Longhorns will begin its first series of this game.
Oklahoma with that short little pooch kickoff, Mark. They had some trouble with their return team last week.
James Brown, the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. Last week, the coach is telling us that Brown had his best game of 1996.
It's the first game this year he's thrown for over 200 yards, which is a real departure from him so far in his career. Last year, he averaged 220 yards per game passing.
Nose of the ball, John, on the 31-yard line. Texas has won 5 of the last 7 meetings against their rivals from across the Red River. 1st and 10 for the Horns. Adams in motion. Backs out of the eye. That's Mitchell running between the tackles, making it up to the 34-yard line. Now look at the Chili's backs and receivers. Ricky Williams complimenting Sean Mitchell in the backfield.
Sean Mitchell's healthy. Ricky Williams was the lead blocker on that play. He'll play the fullback in the I position.
Running in front of this offensive line. A good one.
And I like Dan Neal. He is one of the best guards in the country. He'll be playing Monday nights next year. He is just a great technician. Watch him working in the middle today. He is perfect in everything he does.
2nd down and 6 for Texas. Williams and Mitchell out of the eye. Brown almost falls. Gives it to the eye back. That was Mitchell. And he's stopped up by that Oklahoma front 7. And speaking of the front 7, Tyrell Peter is a guy to watch.
This defense has been much maligned this year, but last week they held June Henley to 63 yards. He's one of the best rushers in the country. This Tyrell Peters, who's got great speed from sideline to sideline. And the defensive backfield, Mark, has been under the gun. It's ranked 108th in pass efficiency, but they're getting better and better every week, too.
They must play well today. 3rd down and 6. Adams in motion. Split backs. Oklahoma coming with a blitz. Brown gets it off. And it's close to a 1st down. Let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins.
Mark, you know, this game never changes. You can always feel the emotion and the energy of it, as Texas is no doubtedly feeling right now. We're going to be monitoring a lot of stories from the sideline. Beginning with the stopwatch, we'll monitor specifically how Oklahoma's fast-track offense affects the football game. Also, Longhorn nose guard Chris Akins is all but assured a huge day. His grandmother tells us why. Damon Parker, OU's sensational running back, battles a severe asthma problem. And we'll run into a few NFL stars along the way down here on the sidelines. Mark?
All right, Dean, a lot of luminaries from the NFL here today. 1st down after that catch by Adams. Here's Brown to pass again. Complete to Fitzgerald, his tight end, who is close to a 1st down at the 46-yard line. Brought down by Broderick Simpson. Texas with a good offense, and one of the reasons is their head coach, John Mackovic, the former head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, who has a reputation for being an offensive innovator.
There's a lot of balance in this offense, too. They average over 200 yards a game, passing and running the football.
And John Blake, behind the official there, is the first-year head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, former defensive lineman at Oklahoma, still looking for his first win.
At 35 years old, he's the youngest coach in Division I-A football.
2nd and 1. Priest Holmes now in the backfield along with Williams. That's Holmes with the 1st down and then some. Holmes tackled by number 9, Anthony Fogel, but not before he had gained the first down at the 36-yard line. Priest Holmes, the 5'10", 210-pound senior. Look at some of the action today in the Big 12. A&M finally putting it together. Having a disappointing season so far in Nebraska, putting it on Baylor.
Kansas over Texas Tech. That would be Texas Tech's third loss this year.
Texas takes on Nebraska next week. A game you'll see on ABC. We'll be there to cover it for you. First down and 10. Brown, short side of the field. Jarrail Jackson is brought down right near the line of scrimmage. This is a Big 12 South Division battle. And a look at the standings. First in the North, Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas, and Nebraska all knotted at 1-0. And there's a look at the South. Texas, the lone undefeated team in the South Division. Oklahoma at 0-1.
We got to get used to this, don't we? North and South of the Big 12, first year of play. I think everybody's got to start to learn a lot about one another in this conference.
Priest Holmes in the backfield still.
Play fake, backside pressure.
Brown, incomplete, intended for Michael Adams, number 83, who slipped at the 60-yard line. It'll be Brown is 3 for 4 today.
Series record, they've been going at it since 1900. Texas has had their way. 52 wins in this series. You know, for a while there, Mark, they were in the same conference together. Southwest Conference between 1915 and 1920. And then Oklahoma went off to the Missouri Valley Conference. And they haven't been in the same conference till this year. Hey, who's that?
That's Mr. Primetime. Dion watching this one. He's watching 3rd and 8. The screen pass stuffed nicely by that Sooner defense, but there's a flag down at the near side of the field at the 35-yard line. Deion Sanders and some of the Cowboys on hand this afternoon in support of one of their former coaches, now the present head coach of Oklahoma, John Blake. Here's the call.
It's an illegal man downfield.
Let's look at John Blake, the 35-year-old head coach, first-year head coach for the Oklahoma Sooners, calls himself a friend of the players.
I bet he'd love to have Deion Sanders in the secondary today.
Let's sneak him in for a play. Here's a field goal attempt from 46 yards out, off of the leg and foot of Phil Dawson. He is 10 of 13 on the year. Dawson has got it like that. And the Texas Longhorns strike first in the 96th edition of the Red River War. We'll be right back after this.
Oklahoma could not get a drive going on their first possession of the game. Both teams traded possessions, and as we return to the action, the Sooners have the ball first down deep in their own territory.
Haven't gotten a ride on that big Ferris wheel yet, John. I saw you on the other one, though.
We'll get you over there. I was on that big boat ride there, yeah.
You got some tickets left over?
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. I have some air sickness bags for you, too.
First down and 11. Parker trying the right side of the line, running over Jay Smith and Chris Campbell, brought down by number 49, Aaron Humphrey. Parker with a respiratory problem, something that Dean Blevins will be keeping us up to date on during the course of the game. At 243 yards against San Diego State, 143 yards against Tulsa, 146 last week against Kansas. And they come out quickly out of the huddle. 2nd and 7, incomplete, intended for Steven Alexander. And Dean was right. They do fire out of that huddle.
They do. And just to keep in mind, you know, the defense breaks the huddle. I can't tell you how many times you see an offense at any level of football break the huddle, the defense isn't ready, and they wait for them. There's no reason to wait for them. You know what play you're running. Get to the line of scrimmage and go. And the offensive linemen usually break the huddle and waddle up to the line. Not here. Dick Winder will have none of that.
Let's see what it looks like.
See, the defense isn't broken yet.
They're still running around. 3rd and 7. They seem to get set. Fuente has time. Downfield, incomplete, intended for number 8, Brandon Daniels. Fuente is now 1 for 6, and there's a look at his offensive coordinator, Coach Winder.
And I think Winder's going to tell him, just snap the ball. He was waiting to see what the coverage was because he wants to read coverage. He knew he had a little sail pattern on the left side of the football field. I think he should just call the play and get the ball snapped. He might have been able to get a real cheap first down there.
Mike Adams back deep for Texas. Brian Lewis punting, and it's flat.
It's happened before, and it happened again. And it could cost them 6. Touchdown, Texas. Special teams, once again, the bane of the Sooners. Well, it happened last week. Field goal block team, the kickoff return team, and the punt return team last week had mistakes that led to touchdowns, and it happened here again today.
Dustin Armstrong, number 80 for Texas, recovering the loose football in the end zone for an easy 6.
You know, another statistics, Brian Lewis, the punter, has now had 7 blocks in his career against him of 67 career blocks. Over 10% of his kicks, or punts rather, have been blocked in his career so far.
Boy, John Day stormed right up the middle that time to block it. In for the extra point, Phil Dawson. Texas taking a 10-0 lead with 2 minutes remaining in the first period. As we begin the start of the second quarter, Oklahoma has the ball 1st and 10, trailing 10-0. They have the ball on Texas's 39-yard line, their deepest penetration of the afternoon. And look at the head coach of Oklahoma, still looking for his first win as head coach. And he has a convoy of supporters this afternoon from the NFL, the ranks of the Dallas Cowboys on the sidelines. 1st and 10. Fuente to pass. The ball may have been tipped near the line of scrimmage. Chris Akins was in there providing pressure. Look at the first quarter statistics. Time of possession relatively even.
So is total yards, Mark. I mean, certainly the difference here in this game is that something that's not reflected in turnovers. It's the block punt by Dustin Armstrong.
Fuente just 3 of 10 so far.
Right there you see the hands come up. Was it Akins? Did you say? I think it was Akins that got his hands on the football.
It sure was. 2 receivers to the top of your screen. Fuente again trying to find Brandon Daniels, and again incomplete. It'll be 3rd down. Bryant Westbrook, number 30, providing the coverage. From Ada, Oklahoma, number 8. As I mentioned earlier, half of this stadium, close to 40,000 people dressed in burnt orange. The other half, crimson and cream. 3rd down and 10. 4 wideouts for the Sooners. A little option look. Parker trying to get to the corner, and he does. There you see that acceleration. He gives an education in acceleration that time with a 1st down at the 19-yard line. A pickup of 20 yards for the Sooners.
You know what's great about this play is, first of all, they set up in a pass formation. You have 3 wide receivers here. You expect them to run off and run a pass pattern, and that's what the secondary thinks. See how they all back out initially? But all of them engage and make very good blocks, and Parker's got the speed to get outside. Boy, he's an exciting running back.
And you saw some of his sprinting speed there, former sprinter in high school. Gets the ball in. Parker making people miss as well. He's got the speed, he has the elusiveness, he is the truth, and he is the future for Oklahoma. 8 rushes so far for a total of 38 yards. There you see what he did last week against Kansas. Texas's defense, John, no doubt, keeping an eye on number 33.
He can run the football. His best game this year, he had 244 against San Diego State, so no stranger to big days.
No success on that play. Dwayne Chandler, the fullback, stopped up on 2nd and 3. It'll be 3rd down, about 3.5 or 4 to go. Casey Hampton, 64 for Texas, making the tackle. Hampton playing with a bad thumb. Just underway here in the second quarter. Mark Jones along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins on the sidelines. Texas leading 10-0, but Oklahoma has the ball on the Longhorn 14-yard line. It is 3rd down and 5. The back's out of the offset eye. James Allen is the deep back. Fuente on the slant. His receiver broke the pattern, and it's incomplete. 4th down and 5. Taji Allen providing the coverage for Texas. Michael McDaniel, number 6, appeared to break to the outside. Fuente through the post route.
You know, actually, McDaniel had trouble getting inside bump and run coverage. He was trying to run a slant in, but the coverage was so tough on him that he couldn't get a clean release inside. The play was there. He was singled up, which is where you want to go with the football. Good job by the Texas secondary.
Jeremy Alexander, number 15, from 31 yards out. Barely good. He is now 4 of 6 on the season. So Oklahoma gets on the scoreboard, narrowing the Texas lead to just 7. We'll be right back.
Texas moved downfield on the arm of James Brown and the running of Ricky Williams, but the Longhorns were stopped near Oklahoma's 26-yard line. Phil Dawson's 43-yard field goal attempt was unsuccessful, and the score stayed Texas 10, Oklahoma 3. We now return to the action after the missed field goal. OU has the ball 1st down and 10 with 10:24 left to play in the half.
Mark Jones, John Spagnola, and Dean Blevins on the Texas State Fairgrounds, the 91st edition of Texas, Oklahoma. 10-3 is the score.
Track meet. Look at them go to the line of scrimmage.
They're kind of scary coming out of there. Waggle action, wide open. The tight end out at the 36-yard line. Steven Alexander tackled by Taji Allen. Alexander is talented. The nickname of his high school, he's from Chickasha, Oklahoma. That's how you say it. Chickasha. You know what the name of his high school team was, John?
I bet it's got something to do with a bird or something.
The Chicks. The guy's a stud receiver.
Chickasha, huh? You know, he didn't play last week. He has a shoulder problem, too, and he injured his shoulder against Tulsa.
Talented receiver. They run it on 1st down, actually on 2nd and short. Chandler, the fullback.
One of the problems with this offense is sometimes you can draw other defenders offsides with the quick hard count when you rush to the line of scrimmage. Sometimes you draw your own people offside too. I think this time they got Texas to wind up in the neutral zone because you run 3 or 4 plays where you run up and go on a quick count, and then the 4th play you don't, but you use that hard count initially, and that draws people off.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, 1st down.
So Oklahoma gets a free one. And there is a look at the place kicker, Jeremy Alexander, the former Lou Groza candidate a year ago.
I'll tell you, kickers have it good, don't they? So you go over and say, you know, I'm a little tight there to your trainer. Can you loosen me up a little bit and give a massage and stretch me out?
9:38 remaining in the first half. Alexander in motion. Complete. Out to the 48-yard line. It's number 24, Chris Blocker, making the catch. Blocker last week against Kansas made an outstanding touchdown catch against the Jayhawks, laying out.
You know, you really, early in the game, he looked last week like they were going to, you know, really give the Jayhawks all they could handle. Made a great catch, as you said, in the end zone. He's really coming on as a receiver, Mark.
2nd down and 3. Akins out of the ball game, and James Allen finding success this time against that Texas front 7, running for the 1st down. And here comes the big fella, 96, the Mac Daddy of linemen in this conference. They call him the big dog.
I just call him good. Oklahoma's getting a little balance on their offense now. Before this drive, Fuente was 3 for 12. He's 2 for 2 in this series. And they're doing the right thing. They're throwing the ball underneath. They were trying to challenge the Texas secondary deep. I don't think they're going to hurt them deep today. It's just too good a secondary. But they are doing a nice job throwing the ball underneath.
Yeah, Fuente getting time to throw that time. Maybe because Akins wasn't in the game, but he's back in now. Nice run that time over the right side is James Allen near the first down. Downstairs to Dean Blevins with the Akins family.
Well, we have part of the Akins family here. The story is when Chris Akins, the fantastic nose guard's grandmother, shows up, he plays a whale of a game. Carolyn Akins is here, not his grandmother, his mother. Is that story true?
That's correct. He does play.
Does he go nuts?
He loves to play and excite his grandmother. She loves it.
All right, we're going to watch this play, and I have another story to see. I want to run past you to see if it's true, okay?
Second down and 2. There's a look at Akins, the nose guard for the Longhorns. They run away from him. Parker still on his feet, hand walking for the first down. They are running away from the big fella, number 96. Back down to Dean.
Well, they're running away from Chris right now, but the story I want to ask you about is, I understand when he was in 6th grade, he beat up a couple of older boys, and his grandmother made him go back and do what?
She sent him to their house to apologize.
Well, is he a good young man now?
Christopher is very nice. He's very nice. He's only rough on the field.
He's plenty rough. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, he needs to rough it up right now. Sooners moving on him.
Yeah, they sure are, Dean. 7:42 remaining in this first half. Weaving up the middle. Damon Parker is very light. He's got those quick feet. Casey Hampton, number 64, making the tackle on the redshirt freshman that time.
Akins gets double teamed. You see he gets a lot of attention there inside. Number 62 works on him. That's Ricky Clark. Tim Macias, the center, number 77. This is the second offensive line that's in the game right now for the Sooners. Dick Winder did this last week. He just rolls the line and puts in the 5 new guys. Complete substitution across the board.
And here is Parker again with the first down and then some. That offensive line, John, firing off the ball for the first down.
They are. They're fresh. They're playing as a unit. They practice as a unit together during the week. And they are doing a great job putting it to Texas. And Texas, keep in mind, has had some problems against the rush this year. Missouri rushed for 216 yards. Notre Dame for 292 yards. And Virginia for 196.
Here's a look at that offensive line.
That's Sammy Williams. That's right there. That's Greg Moyer, 54. Gets a good knockdown block. 75, you see there. Sammy Williams. Hey, they're fired up.
It's first and goal. Of course they're fired up. All right. And Oklahoma running the ball that time. Down to the 8-yard line. That was Damon Parker, brought down by Tyson King, number 50. You know, when you look at number 50 for Texas, here's a guy who's the leading tackler this year, was the leading tackler last year, and he says that since I've gotten to Austin and played for the Longhorns, they've been trying to replace me, but they've never been able to.
They have a youngster by the name of Anthony Hicks they'd like to use behind him. Yeah, that often happens. He just lines up and plays good football.
Fuente on second and goal. Into the end zone. Touchdown Sooners. Jackson with the catch and the touchdown. This is why they call it the Red River Shootout. Does that look like an 0-4 team to you? Oklahoma tying the game at 10 apiece. And Crimson and Cream pride on the line. And they're Sooner born
right down there where their fans are, too.
You can hear them. They're Sooner born. They're Sooner bred. And when they die, they're Sooner dead. We're tied at 10.
The Longhorns could not move the ball after Oklahoma's touchdown and were forced to punt. The running of James Allen and Damon Parker helped move the Crimson and Cream into scoring position. And with just under 2 minutes left in the half, Jeremy Alexander successfully kicked a 35-yard field goal, putting OU on top 13-10. Let's return now as the Sooners prepare to kick off after the field goal.
An upset brewing in front of nearly 70,000 people here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. This is a series that John Blake has played in as a defensive lineman. A series characterized by upsets.
He said he was the MVP in this series, too, when he played.
Yep. In the early 80s.
Defensive lineman.
His last game.
1983. I'm going to check on that one.
Oh, you think he's got the press clippings with him in his pocket?
You know, Fred Akers made a good point today. He came into the booth and talked to Mark and me a little bit, and he said, you know, Mark asked him about the series, and he said, you never forget your first one as a head coach. And I mentioned that to John Blake today on the field. He said, is that right? And I think right now he's enjoying this one, and he'll certainly not forget this one if it winds up being his first victory ever as a head coach.
And no doubt, an auspicious beginning for Oklahoma. They lead with 1:54 to play in the first half, 13-10. Mike Scarborough.
What a hit!
Man, when he comes to, his clothes will be out of style. That was a hit. We flash back right now. Go back to 1991. Gary Gibbs, the coach of Oklahoma. They were 6th ranked. Early in the fourth quarter, they led 7-3, but Bubba Jacks picked up the fumble, returned it 24 yards for the game-winning touchdown. And David McWilliams and the Longhorns upset undefeated Oklahoma 10-7. That's the type of series it is. Texas is ranked. Oklahoma is not. But Oklahoma leads 13-10. 3 wideouts. James Brown out of the shotgun now. Complete near the first down at the 30-yard line to number 6, Mike Scarborough. It is a first down, a pickup of 12. The clock stops as they move the chains. Anthony Fogel was being worked on in the defensive secondary.
Good pattern by Scarborough. You know, he plays baseball for the Texas Longhorns. Batted .333 this year. He's a good all-around athlete. He stepped up to play this year when Curtis Jackson got hurt and got a lot more playing time.
We haven't seen Jackson so far today. Wide open to Ricky Williams, who's improved his receiving and broke a couple of tackles. There's that yardage after contact that we were talking about. The strength, the force, and the fury of number 11, Ricky Williams, who picks up 16 and stops the clock with 1:35 to play in the first half.
You know, and this is right down the middle. It's where, right down here is where this is all Oklahoma and this is all Texas. And I think Texas can't wait to get in this part of the football field right now because things have not gone well for them on the right side there. They want to get away from that crowd.
Oklahoma players feel they have the advantage too, John, because the tunnel is at the south end of the stadium, and the Oklahoma fans are there, as you just pointed out, so they hear the roars of the fans coming out for the game. Under pressure, Brown on 1st and 10, completes it, throws a rope to the 45, 3 yards short of the first down. He completes it to 33, Priest Holmes. These Texas running backs are good receivers out of the backfield. Stevens made the tackle.
Look at the yardage so far today. Texas completely outrushed and outpassed by the Oklahoma defense. Oklahoma with over 100 yards rushing in the quarter.
The pass complete by Brown at the 36 this time. Matt Davis, number 86. The senior, a reliable possession receiver. Anthony Davis being worked on the corner.
Yeah, Texas getting more yards on that play. That's updated right to that play after the catch by Davis. But you can see in the second quarter, that has been all Oklahoma so far.
We knew that they could move the ball coming into this, and Texas knew too. Brown on this drive is 4 of 4 for 46 yards. This time, the inside handoff to Williams, who is wrapped up and collared, bulldogged by number 9, Anthony Fogel, the senior.
You know, and that's where the image of Earl Campbell is conjured up by those who love to draw the comparisons between these two football players. Leaning forward, getting hit, people hog-tying him and all over the place, and he just keeps right on going.
Williams has become a student of the game. Bucky Godbolt, the running backs coach, as you mentioned earlier, has given him some videotape. A couple of weeks ago, showed him videotape of Barry Sanders. So what Williams does is he incorporated that into his game with a couple of nice spin moves.
And then Godbolt said, I got to go out and find the Gale Sanders tape. God knows what he's going to do next.
2nd down and 4. Look at Williams today. doing a good job rushing and receiving with 54 seconds to play in the first half. Brown over the middle. Incomplete. He tried to hit number 11 one more time.
Good defense by Jarrail Peters. Would not let him inside. Ricky Williams was trying to get inside position on him, and Jarrail Peters would not let him inside on that play. Right here, we're going to work one-on-one. You'll see a nice little matchup. Jarrail Peters comes over. He tries to get the ball inside. It does not work. There he is working inside. Now, if he cuts underneath and beats him, that's going to be a completion. But nope. Peters gave him the bump and kept him outside.
It is 3rd down and 4. They're in field goal range, but Brown wants more. He gets more. Mike Adams. They call him the playmaker, and he made a big play there. A pickup of 24 and a first down with 42 seconds to go. And he says, give me some volume, folks.
Well, he's the all-time leading receiver here at Texas. It's about time we hear his name mentioned. Hard to believe he hasn't been involved in the offense so far today.
42 seconds to play in the half. 1st and goal for the Horns. And they stop the clock.
You know, Mark, you've made mention of this play, the Dan Marino play from last year. Why don't teams talk about doing that, where they just have a little hand signal? You think you're going to spike it, and then you throw the ball up in the air.
Be a great play if you could do it. A look at the Longhorns' success in the red zone in 1996, 93%.
Yeah. Wow. That's about as good as it gets right there. That's very efficient.
Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Wonder why they wasted one there.
Well, they might want to run the football right here. They might want to try and spread them out, which they look like they're doing, and see if they can run the football.
Brown into the end zone on the out. Touchdown, Mike Adams. He loves the Godfather movies, and that time he was untouchable.
As good as Adams has been, he hasn't been able to get in the end zone that often. That's only his 2nd touchdown reception in the last 13 games, but he came at a very good time.
Yeah, he's been bothered by hip injuries for the last 6 months. Dawson with the extra point. It's up and good. And Texas storming back now to take a 17-13 lead. Adams capping a 9-play, 82-yard drive with a 6-yard touchdown catch.
Mike Adams is going to run a quick out here. You see the strength, James Brown's arm. He's working on Cedric Stevens. Gets good separation, knows where the ball is going to be thrown, and that was a very well-executed play.
A look at Texas's all-time leading receiver.
Let me tell you, that's why you have great efficiency inside the red zone. When you can run plays like that and run them as efficiently, I should say, as they did. 3 receptions, 39 yards for Mike Adams today.
Adams, a talented receiver. Interesting, John, in that last week in their game against Oklahoma State, he caught a deep post pattern route, complete near the end zone, but wasn't able to accelerate away from the defensive back and was brought down from behind. You don't see that happen often, but it illustrates the point that he is not at his top level of fitness right now.
That's right. He has a muscle pull in that abdominal region into the hip, and he can play through it, but as we were told, that will not heal until the season's over. And you get a guy who's such a good athlete and so fast like that, he's probably at about 90-95%. It definitely affects his ability to break away from people.
Fast guys like you always get those injuries, right?
You can't pull fat, let me tell you. That has been my motto my entire athletic life.
Chris Stockton to kick off. He's number 13 for Texas. Jackson and Daniels back deep for the Sooners. Mike Adams has really resurrected his career and his value system. And for more on that, let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins.
Well, guys, Mike Adams is a great story. 83 came in as a sensational recruit, a wide receiver who really came on as a freshman to be a dominant player in the country. But he had a string of off-the-field problems, none really serious. You know, I asked the Texas guys about it. They said, well, really, there's times when he should have been in bed and he wasn't, that kind of thing. But he did mess up enough and hurt a knee where he sat out in 94 as a medical redshirt. Really got his act together, though, and as a leader on this club, a step slower than he used to be. Not as sensational, but a solid player and a great leader.
Yeah, Dean, you know, sometimes youthful exuberance can be somewhat contentious.
Exactly. I'm still there.
But he's put it together. And that's the bottom line for number 83. And
what did Dean say there? Now, he's still there on the story, or he's still there with the youthful exuberance?
Both of them. In fairness to Adams and his handle, which is the playmaker, right, he's had that for 5 years. So I know there's another guy out there somewhere that's called the playmaker in football. It's not like Michael Adams is trying to steal your thunder. Oklahoma's James Allen down to the 30-yard line, and that ends a very well-played first half of action on the Texas State Fairgrounds. It's halftime. Texas leads Oklahoma in the Red River War 17.
Both teams traded possessions during the second half, but neither team could capitalize. Texas blocked a punt with just under a minute left in the third quarter, but a fumble recovery on the next play gave OU control once more. The Sooners' drive stalled near the Longhorns' 38-yard line, and after another OU punt, the Longhorns' Priest Holmes picked up 37 yards on a swing pass to OU's 42-yard line. A pass by James Brown to Mike Scarborough gained 18 more yards for the Longhorns, and as we pick up the action, Texas has the ball first down and 5 after an offsides call on Oklahoma. Just over 10.5 minutes remain in the game.
So it'll be first down and 5 to go. James Brown perhaps having deja vu. He had success in 94, and he's having it now, John.
Watch 92 right here jump across because he thinks he sees Ben Adams flinch, and the officials do not see it that way. They get back in the stance and says, come on. He tries to argue his case.
Here's the counter. Trey Williams pushed out of bounds right near that first down marker at the 13-yard line by Ghana Joseph, number 29. And the clock stops with 10:27 to play in the fourth quarter, and it is a Texas first down. Williams today running 15 times for a total of 85 yards. Out of San Diego, California. He plays minor league baseball in the Philadelphia Phillies organization. He's a better running back than outfielder. He hit just 188 with 3 round trippers and 20 RBI last summer in minor league ball.
Yeah, he's where he belongs, right here on the football field.
Oklahoma would rather have him play baseball, I'm sure. Bootleg action. That's Davis, and they're going to rule it complete. He scooped it up, got his hands underneath the ball, and Davis comes up with a catch. James Brown finding his mark and his rhythm.
There's Ricky Williams on the play action. You have to honor him. He's not afraid to stick his head in there, though. He takes a good shot at Tre'Vane Smith.
That's a nice catch by Davis, too.
Travian Smith, I'm sorry. But, yeah, no, Ricky Williams, you got to be impressed with the all-round abilities he has as a football player. The mental part, doing the blocking, the receiving today, and, of course, running the football.
Texas leads by 4 with 9:46 remaining. The eyes of Ricky Williams. Second and 4 from the 7-yard line. Mark Jones, John Spagnuolo, Dean Blevins down on the sidelines. Texas threatening to score, John. This would have a bad effect on Oklahoma should Texas go in.
I had a feeling, Texas has not moved the football well today at all. Only 222 in yardage coming into this drive right here, but they put it together. They're up 4. They can go up 11 if they score a touchdown.
And here is what they are playing for. The golden hat. They shined it up, John. It used to be a bronze hat, right?
That's right. They refurbished it back in 1950. It went from the bronze hat to the golden hat. So a little appreciation in the value of that thing.
Better guard it. Second and 4. Split backs, Mitchell and Williams. It's Williams. And he takes it to the house. Touchdown, Longhorns. Williams ran the football right up the middle there. Got a neat block from his tight end. Watch Derek Lewis, 82, come in motion, and he actually does the trapping on that play, and that's what seals everything in the middle. Derek Lewis, backup tight end, doing a great job. It's called a wham block. You get to bang into a defensive lineman. Dawson with the extra point. They did go wham on that last run. Texas increasing its lead courtesy of Ricky Williams. 24-13 when we return. Ricky Williams recently capping an 8-play, 80-yard drive with a 7-yard touchdown run. And Texas now holds a 24-13 lead. Chris Stockton set to kick off. Look at what Williams has done, both running and receiving. Good numbers today. There's a look at Stockton, and Stockton has pushed Phil Dawson in the kicking department this year.
Well, Dawson, had that surgery on the left knee, and that's why they don't use him on kickoffs. On that plant knee, he had some surgery in the offseason, so they use Chris Stockton to kick off. Less wear and tear than for Dawson. Dawson likes to mix it up a little too much on kickoffs, too.
He'll go down and try and make a tackle. Daniels. A look from the end zone. Brandon Daniels down at the 32.
Take a look at the touchdown. You're going to see great on straight ahead blocking right here. The trap play by Derek Lewis here allows these linemen to get just straight upfield one-on-one blocking. Very simple approach. Watch 69 Dan Neal. Look at the block he gets on his man Ryan Feebigger to center. Blows his man well back. And that's just perfect execution. You run behind the strength of your offense. Those two linemen right there are the strength of the Longhorn offense.
And you heard him say, "We're doing it for you, Earl." That's what Ricky Williams was saying. He was talking about Earl Campbell, of course. Let's go downstairs to Dean for more on Ricky Williams.
Yeah, guys, to follow up on that, here are the numbers for Ricky Williams. He came into the year with 69% of his yards after contact. Oklahoma doing a pretty good job of controlling him. Only 92 yards rushing, only 31 yards after contact, 34%. But still, he's a stallion. 92 yards rushing, scored the touchdown, and he is a lethal combination of strength and speed.
So far Oklahoma has shut him. They came in the game averaging 7.5 yards a pop. That's just about 5.5 so far today.
Justin Fuente completes this to James Allen. Allen with some nice moves out to the 39-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards short of the first down. It'll be third down and 3 to go. Fuente hitting just one of his last 7, two of the last 7 passes. Dusty Renfro made the tackle that time.
It's a critical third down, though, for the Sooners. Down 11. They have to keep the drive alive here in this football game.
And they blithely sprint out of the huddle. The toss out of the eye. Allen. He's not going to make it. That play reminiscent almost of Stoney Clark stopping Allen 2 years ago. Trey Thomas, number 17, making the stop that time. Although when Stoney Clark made the tackle, it was a game saver down at the 2-yard line. A pivotal play, and fourth down punting situations have been atrocious for the Sooners today. And number 82, Brian Lewis, is standing on his own 26, getting ready to punt. Mike Adams, number 83, is standing on his own 16 for Texas. He gets off a great punt, a spiral, driving Adams back to the 10. Take a bow, Brian Lewis. It's been a tough afternoon for you. 48 yards on the punt, nothing on the return. The special teams telling the story. We'll be right back. Back at the Cotton Bowl, 8:07 to play in the fourth quarter. Texas leading Oklahoma 24-13. I'm Mark Jones along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins. James Brown in at quarterback for the leading Longhorns. He's number 5. 2 years ago, he played well against Oklahoma in this game, leading them to victory. Out of Beaumont, Texas. He has quieted all of his critics this afternoon. 19 of 29 for 196 yards and a touchdown pass. He hands it off that time to Ricky Williams, who's brought down by Tanner and Chase.
Yeah, Chase just came right through, slanted in front of that offensive line, knifed into the backfield and made a big stop behind the line of scrimmage.
It'll be second down and 14 to go. James Brown, the quarterback out of Beaumont, Texas, as I mentioned. There were rumblings, let's talk about it, in the black community in Beaumont, in Texas, that Texas would never play a black quarterback. And then there was the racist mail that he received. But he's persevered, and he's passing, and he's almost picked off. Tyrell Peters breaking it up.
That's the second time today we've seen Tyrell Peters showing his speed, operating in coverage down the middle of the field. Ricky Williams before was trying to beat him down the field, and that's no small task covering him. This time Derek Lewis tries to get him down the middle of the field. You see right here, matchup downfield. And Tyrell Peters runs downfield, number 45, turns, knocks that ball. That's great coverage. That's why he's a definite pro prospect.
Out of Norman, Oklahoma.
It's one thing to play the run in college. So many linebackers do, but you got to be able to play pass defense too.
One of the few players, John, as you mentioned, that might be able to play at the next level defensively for Oklahoma. 3rd and 14 for Texas. The Sooners need a stop. Williams on the draw. And they're not going to get the first down. And they try to strip him.
But he still carried half the Oklahoma defense 5 yards.
Let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins.
Guys, this is an unusual situation here. Texas comes in as a 3-touchdown favorite. It's incredible to me that it's been 12 years since Texas has been a favorite. In the last 7, though, as an underdog, the Longhorns have gone 5-1-1. So Oklahoma goes as a favorite for like 11 years in a row to now a 22-point underdog. How quickly things change.
Yeah, but John Blake, Dean, trying to turn around for the Sooners.
Yeah, Andrew.
And believe me, the cupboard is pretty bare here at Oklahoma. They had 14 players drafted in the first round between 1976 and 88. Only one player drafted in the first round from Oklahoma in that period of time. And that was last year.
Hey, John.
Cedric Jones got drafted. I mean, that shows how low the talent is, Dean.
Yeah, and John, to follow up with that, I was visiting with a couple of the Oklahoma coaches 2 days ago, and comparing this club's defensive talent to those of, say, the 85, 86 teams of dominance, Brian Bosworth and Casillas, we talked to him earlier. They say 4 players on the 2 deep. That's 22 players. Only 4 players could make the 2 deep of those teams in 85 and 86. Now, I'm talking about the starters. This year's starters on defense, only 4 of them could make the 2 deep. So that gives you an idea of the talent drop-off.
Oh, yeah. One thing John Blake has done, though, is that the alums, including yourself, are returning back to the campus. They're welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, to the practices, to the sidelines of games. See Billy Sims all the time around there. And, you know, I think that is a big way of showing that these players really care about the school. We saw Tony Casillas on the sideline here today. And, you know, that's going to help recruit, because a lot of players, when they come to a school, say, they'll ask former players or current players, what do you think? And they're the ones that have to talk up their coach and the whole program.
Dale Allen, the injured player for Oklahoma. And to footnote that story, John and Dean, a lot of the former players able to come back, and that wasn't the situation under the 2 previous regimes, Schnellenberger and Gary Gibbs.
Things were a little bit standoffish, you might say.
Yep.
Dale Allen's the cousin of James Allen coming off the field. James having himself a great day. He's the first guy over to greet his cousin.
Texas with the ball. It's 4th down and 14, and in comes their punter, Mark Schultes.
That was a great defensive stand by the Sooners, though. They need to get the football back in 3 plays. They got it back quickly.
They should get decent field position out of this, too.
And Texas only burned about a minute off the clock, Mark, excuse me.
Schultes punting, gets off a high, towering spiral. Jackson eschews the fair catch, and he's got a lane down the outside. It could be a second one. J.J. has got it going like that.
What a great play by Jarrail Jackson. Caught the ball, hesitated, headed down the sidelines. As we watch the replay, keep in mind, Oklahoma should go for 2 points. Once he gets a couple of blocks, it seems like the Texas coverage team got balled up in the middle of the field, and he goes down the sideline. And Oklahoma's going to go for 2 points here because they're down right now by 5. It would make it down by 3, and a field goal would tie. And, of course, we have overtime in college football now.
You can almost feel their confidence growing. Fuente steps up to the line as they race out of the huddle and calls a timeout. Jackson has 2 touchdowns today. The Sooners alive and breathing when we come back.
Dick Winder not real happy, lost the element of surprise, and he lets Justin Fuente know it. Dean Blevins, you saw the formation, though. What do you think they might be trying to do with the 2-point conversion? They're 1 for 1 this year. They've had a pass completion for a 2-point conversion.
Well, I would think that Oklahoma would try to get wide. If they don't try to get wide, it'll be a tight end game. They've got a little play where they fake a trap up in the middle and they hit the tight end on a little route toward the corner. So tight end or going wide will be what Oklahoma does, in my opinion.
All right, full house backfield. Allen, Chandler, and Fazandi. They fake it, and they convert it. Steven Alexander, the tight end.
Boy, it helps have good scouting, doesn't it?
Dale Allen, we are told by Dean Blevins just moments ago, is out of the ballgame with an ankle injury. Jeremy Alexander getting set to kick off for the Sooners. They trail 24-21. Sean Mitchell and Mike Scarborough back to return for Texas. It was last year Oklahoma trailed 21-0. They stormed back to tie it. The final was 24-all. Alexander has got some thunder in that foot. Out of the back of the end zone.
We'll take another look at the touchdown. Jason Freeman is the primary receiver. He gets held up and kicked into the corner of the end zone. From the backside comes Steven Alexander, and that's who Fuente absolutely has to look to. That's his second read. See how Freeman's held up, and he's held up. But backside, Alexander comes open, and they convert on the 2-point conversion.
Gary Darnell, his voice intoning impatiently. First and 10 from the 20. Backs out of the eye. Movement on that left side of the Texas line. Flags down. Well, folks, Monday night is the Battle of the Bays. Jerry Rice in San Francisco battle Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers in an NFC showdown on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that's going to be a great ball game. The question is whether Steve Young is going to play or not, of course, in that game. But, boy, those Packers are tough at home. I mean, they play to that crowd, too.
And John, a win for San Francisco, meanwhile, would give George Seifert his 100th career victory, and that would be the fastest coach to reach 100 career victories in NFL history. A look from the end zone. Mitchell and Williams out of the eye. James Brown, the quarterback. Sean Mitchell. Run out of bounds by number 9, Anthony Fogel. He ran about 30 yards, and he gained a couple.
You know, this is an interesting situation. There's some similarities here between this game and the Notre Dame game, where Texas was up by 7 late in that game, and they ran the football effectively. They didn't run it at the end of the game, a lot of people felt, and Makovic came under some heat for not running the football, instead going to the pass end of the game. You know, James Brown turned the football over, and Notre Dame scored twice, or 10 points, in the last 6 minutes of that football game. A field goal with no time left, of course, won it. They've got Williams in the game, along with 33, Priest Holmes, on 2nd and 11. Brown's going to pass. Complete to Ricky Williams, and he gets a good block from the tight end. Williams converts on 2nd down for the first down. 36 yards to his credit. Jerry White making the tackle. That's Ricky Williams' 4th reception today for 58 yards. He's really doing it in all facets of the game. And Mark, you called it. The ball gets out there. Now he dips inside, gets a great block by his tight end, Pat Fitzgerald. Right there on the ground, you see him. And then Ricky just heads on downfield.
John, they talk about him being Little Earl, as in Earl Campbell. Was Earl that good a receiver in college?
I don't think he got a chance to catch the football. Certainly not as much as Ricky Williams does in the balanced attack that Makovic uses.
This is Priest Holmes. Cutting back after breaking a couple of tackles. Brought down by Broderick Simpson at the 41-yard line. James Brown, meanwhile, number 5, the quarterback for Texas, is 20 of 31 today for a total of 232 yards. And I talked about some of the barriers that he faced both at home and here at Texas. And he has done well.
Well, his father had a big influence on him, too.
Sure did.
Going to Texas.
2nd and 8. Fitzgerald in motion with the block. Williams rocked right near the line of scrimmage. He fell forward for a gain of 1. Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. Scores and highlights from across the country. Tanner making the tackle that time.
You know, that was the same play they ran that they scored a touchdown on. They try to get that same wham block. The tight end's going to come in, get a wham block here. But watch the Sooner defense close on this play. Not nearly as executed as it was when he ran for a touchdown a couple of possessions ago.
3rd and 6. The Sooner defense needs to stop. Fitzgerald in motion. Brown trying to find number 82, Lewis, but it's incomplete.
Wow.
He looked left first, John, and there seemed to be a mix-up of some sort. Nobody was open, and he came back the other way.
And he came back and threw a dangerous pass. And again, I'll draw another parallel to the Notre Dame game. That's exactly what he did, and there was a turnover against Notre Dame. There's Mike Adams working in the middle of the field. He's got his hands up. He thinks he's open, but, you know, there's 45, Jarrail Peters, who was underneath that. And that would have definitely been an interception had he tried to force the ball to Adams.
Schultz is punting to Jackson, who's already won 1 back today. Schultz has 7 punts to his credit inside the 20. Let's see what he does here. He aims for the corner. Will they down it? No is the definitive answer.
And I think the collective exhale by the Oklahoma Sooner crowd blew that ball into the end zone. Or they inhaled, rather. They're inhaling at that end, exhaling at the other end.
And speaking of inhaling and exhaling, there's a freshman on the sidelines for Oklahoma, number 33, Damon Parker, who has no doubt used his asthma medicine, his inhaler today, to relieve some of the allergy problems, and he's run well. 22 times for 100 yards.
Snap it, fellas. See, it's a pass play. They're taking their time.
4 wide receivers. Fuente to pass. Has his man open near the first down marker at the 30. Oklahoma with an 11-yard pickup. Gerald Williams with the catch.
See, they broke the huddle there, and Texas wasn't in position, and, you know, Fuente's got to read the coverage, so he's got to wait for him, but I'd like to see him snap it once while they're still breaking the huddle defensively.
Partner, Oklahoma came in a 20-point underdog. Imagine that.
We knew it was going to be a good one. This is the series that you just don't put a number on. You just watch him play and enjoy it.
4 receivers, trips left. Fuente on the post. Incomplete, intended for Michael McDaniel.
You know, another thing's very clear today is every time, again, that Oklahoma's tried to go deep, they haven't been able to. They don't match up speed-wise on the wide receiver position. They just don't have the speed to beat the corners downfield.
And through the mist is the star running back with the dreadlocks, Ricky Williams. He's worked hard today. 19 rushes for a total of 96 yards. 2nd and 10 for Oklahoma. They run it on long. And James Allen still on his feet. Unrelenting. Unyielding. James Allen finally brought down by Taji Allen.
seen Damon Parker at all here in the fourth quarter, and that's because James Allen, for one thing, is doing such a great job. Texas had problems all year with tackling and finishing plays with tackling, so much so that they had a tackling dummy on the sidelines in the game last week.
They sure did. Fuente had it batted down at the line of scrimmage. He tried to find number 80, his tight end, Steven Alexander, but Gray Mosier batted it down. Mosier is a guy we saw on the sidelines earlier, nursing an injury, but the emergency, the immediacy of this game, getting him back in. 3:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma is 33 yards away from scoring a touchdown.
Keep in mind, Jeremy Alexander's hit 2 field goals today so far.
And you know what, John? Just moments ago, I want to point out that Jeremy Alexander ran into the tunnel. Maybe getting checked out. Texas calling a timeout. They now have 1 remaining. Oklahoma with 2 timeouts remaining.
You saw him run into the tunnel?
And Dean Blevins is going to tell us more about him.
Well, I don't know how you really describe this. It reminds me of when Switzer ran off the field with the Cowboys at RFK a couple of years ago. Thought it was an emergency, and it was actually a bathroom stop. That's the same thing that has happened here to Jeremy Alexander with 3:52. He's headed through the tunnel to the John. Damon Parker is okay. He'll be shuttling in and out with James Allen.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean. Well, we do cover everything, don't we?
I tell you, he ran pretty fast, too.
Well, I'm glad he's back in time to kick the tying field goal. I'd hate to see them have to call his number and bring him out of the locker room.
The nose of the ball is on the 33-yard line. Oklahoma trails Texas by 3 points with 3:52 to play.
His longest so far this year, Mark, has been from 49 yards. So if he gets another 5 yards or so, he'll be within his range anyway.
A look at what Allen and Williams have done respectively. That's James Allen for Oklahoma, Ricky Williams for Texas.
Yeah, James Allen really came on, didn't he, in the second half and the fourth quarter here?
You know,
it's exciting to see. Good for him. Hanging in the program and playing well in such a big game.
John Blake appealing to his pride, and here he is again, a proud warrior. James Allen down to the 30-yard line, gains 3 on the play, stopped by number 64, Casey Hampton. Hampton is filling in for Chris Akins. It'll be 3rd down and 7 to go. Brandon Daniels, number 8, coming into the game for Oklahoma. Gerald Williams, starting receiver, coming out. 3rd and 7. Out of the backfield to Allen. He's got to get to the 22, and he's not going to get there.
What a hit by Westbrook. He brought everything. You know, he is the hardest hitter on this defense, and he plays cornerback. This is why the pros are so in love with him. Let's listen to the hit that Brian Westbrook puts on James Allen.
Captain Crunch. Wow. In for the field goal attempt is a relieved Jeremy Alexander coming from 44 yards away. And this time, this year, he ties it up. Last year, he had an opportunity to win it for the Sooners, and he failed. This year, in a clutch situation, he converts it to tie the game at 24 apiece.
And isn't it great to see special teams come through for the Sooners? The punt return for the touchdown. Now a field goal, 3 for 3 today. After all the problems they've had all year with special teams, the special teams have put the last 10 points on the board here for the Sooners.
One more look. Last year, Alexander was 12 for 12 before missing the potential game winner against Texas. It took him a while, admittedly, he says, to get over it. It took him some 2-3 weeks. But this year, there will be no anguish. There will be no agony, and we are potentially looking at overtime.
That's right. We've been flirting with it all year, and here it is. Teams get equal possession. The offense begins on the opponent's 25-yard line. and you just keep on going until somebody scores more than the other. But keep in mind also, the Longhorns had an excellent 2-minute drill right before the half. We know they can execute. They've done it already today, and you know that this is not a situation that they shy away from with their offense.
Yeah, with time winding down in the first half, John Blake's defense gave in to John Makovich's offense, and Mike Adams caught a touchdown pass.
And John Blake talking things over with Dick Winder just in case they get the football back. Again, Texas with one timeout left.
On the Texas State Fairgrounds at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. A team with 7 consecutive losses, the most ever in the storied program at Oklahoma. Looking to snap that agonizing string today. Scarborough. Still on his feet. Run out of bounds at the 27-yard line with 2:17 to play. Texas with the ball at the 28. You see the time, you see the score. Williams and Holmes in the backfield. Brown to pass. Ruled incomplete at the 30, intended for Ricky Williams. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The clock stops with 2:12. Terrence Malone providing the coverage. James Brown today, folks, 20 of 33 for a total of 232 yards and a touchdown.
And he executed that drive before the half, Mark, 82 yards in 1 minute and 21 seconds. So they're well within their range and their abilities to be able to move the football. But that was the first half, and this is a pumped-up Sooner defense.
Much more urgency now. Brown under pressure. And he roughly, wisely gets it away for positive yardage up near the 25. What a play by James Brown. Rod Manuel made the tackle on the play.
I don't know how he got rid of this football. It looked like he almost broke his ankle. Rod Manuel came in through a stunt, got his ankle, and twisted him around. That had to hurt. And he's hurt a little bit, I bet. Thinking, man, how did he come through? But Rod Manuel on a stunt inside with Kelly Gregg came free up the middle of the field.
The clock running down with 1:31 to play. 3rd and 14 for the Longhorns. And Oklahoma's defense tells the officials, we want to talk about it. You can almost hear the ghost now of Johnny Jones, Brian Bosworth, Billy Sims, Peter Gardere, all the great players that participated in this game. 3rd and 14 for the Longhorns. 1:26 to play. Brown is going to try and do it through the air. And he's almost picked off by Broderick Simpson, throwing into the teeth of the defense. They'll have to punt. And that's one that Simpson would love to replay.
You know, that's again, Brown waited and waited until his receiver came open. But again, here, you know, here's how he threw the ball. It looks like he pushes this again. Let's take a look at just his motion. Now it's a good snap release. From up here, I thought he pushed it like he had been earlier this year. And at the last second, you see Simpson come across and bat that thing away. Good defense by the Sooners. The 2-minute drill doesn't work for the Longhorns.
All right, John Schultz is into punt from his own 11. Gets off a high spiral. Jackson has run one back, but this time he plays it safe, calling for the fair catch at the 45. They're 55 yards away from the end zone. Oklahoma, a 20-point underdog, winless in its last 7 games. The genuine Chevrolet MVPs in the game are James Brown from Texas and James Allen, that guy in your screen, from Oklahoma. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. Keep in mind that Jeremy Alexander, the place kicker for Oklahoma, is 3 for 3 today. James Allen has done yeoman work, yeoman service in the backfield, and it's his turn now. Allen down to the 45. Humphrey with the tackle. Allen with 141 yards rushing.
And Oklahoma can take their time. They're in positive territory now. They're on the Longhorn side of the football field. So again, they need to get around that 30-yard line, and they can try game-winning field goal.
Jeremy Alexander waiting for his chance. Incomplete to the tight end, Steven Alexander, stopping the clock with 37 seconds to go. Jeremy Alexander, folks, the place kicker for Oklahoma, is 3 for 3 today. He's made field goals, areas on the sidelines, from 31, from 35, and from 44. Last year, he missed a potential game winner. He would cherish the opportunity for another chance. 4 receivers. Allen gets to the perimeter. Still on his feet. James Allen. But there's a flag down. Hold on. There's a flag down back at the 45. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be holding against Oklahoma. One lone solitary piece of linen stands between Oklahoma and a chance maybe for a touchdown. Here's the call.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards inside of 5.
I have never heard a stadium break out in spontaneous cheers and boos like I have here today, especially on this play. Like right here on number 67, Derek Nelson. Looks like he gets tangled up with the defensive tackle. There he is blocking. Yeah, he gets locked up there on number 52, the defensive tackle there for Texas. That was Cedric Woodward who got the holding call against him.
A look of dismay for John Blake. Fuente, a dangerous throw to the wide side of the field, incomplete. 3rd and 10, 23 seconds to go, intended for Jarrail Jackson.
Man, this guy can't buy a break, can he?
Oh,
the penalties come at the worst time. There's a great play. He's upset.
It'll be 4th and 10.
Fuente comes back. And he's trying to go to the right side of the field, yeah. I mean, he had something going there, but the ball was late, and they're going to wind up punting the football.
Texas has blocked one today. They blocked 2, 1 for a touchdown. Lewis gets this one off, and he just sends this one out of bounds inside the 20-yard line with 16 seconds to go. Ricky Williams, Little Earl, has done stellar work today for the Longhorn offense.
Oh, I wonder if these people here know the overtime rule. 16 seconds left in the game. We'll have to take him to school here, Mark.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think Makovic on the 11-yard line wants to take any chances turning the football over. I think he's willing to roll the dice and go drive after drive from the 25-yard line. Big scores there in the Big 12 today. Is that Texas Tech with a win? Did I see that?
Mm-hmm. And tonight, Colorado taking on Oklahoma State. I'm Mark Jones, along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins. For those of you just tuning in, this has been a very riveting, compelling day. The story of a team winless in its last 7 games, recapturing a little bit of pride. It's tied at 24 apiece with 16 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. And the Sooner defense is still hitting hard.
And this is the Notre Dame game all over for Texas. 10 points given up late in the 4th quarter. And they're going to wind up going overtime.
Well, if 60 minutes wasn't enough for you, we'll give you a little more. Tied at 24 in the 91st edition of the Red River War. How do you like it, John Blake? The Red River is 60 miles to the north of this place, the Cotton Bowl. It's the Red River Shootout. Right now, Texas will have the first possession on offense in overtime. Oklahoma winning the toss, electing to go on defense. The ball is on the 25-yard line. Texas with the wind at its back. Williams and Holmes behind the quarterback, James Brown. The back's in the offset eye. Brown, incomplete.
You know, that's the question. I wondered, would John McAvick go for the knockout punch right away, try and hit a big play, or would he just try and drive the football? Overtime rule, there's sudden death. Teams get equal possession. There's no sudden death. So after whatever Texas does, Oklahoma gets a chance to match. The offense, as you see, begins on the 25, and you keep going. You roll 4 downs, you make first downs, and you go to the goal line. And after the first overtime, if one team isn't ahead of the other one, you repeat the process until one team finally is ahead.
2nd down and 10. Ricky Williams spinning outside and brought down by the shoestrings by number 51, Broderick Simpson, who in the end of the regulation period made a key play to bat a ball down.
From Mike Adams, that's right, across the middle. Broderick Simpson having himself a great 4th quarter in overtime. Number 51 right here, Ricky Williams, is going to break it outside. It's hard to bring him down, but right there he's got some open field in front of him, and Broderick Simpson makes a great play. Now this, you know, if Texas doesn't get any more yards, it's going to be a long field goal for Phil Dawson.
He has kicked several field goals over 50 yards in his career. He has one to his credit this year. James Brown doesn't like what he sees and burns a timeout. 3rd and 11 when we come back. It's Makovich's call next. Back here, we're in overtime. Texas started with the ball. It's 3rd and 11.
You know, that's Arizona State playing on the road for the first time. What a difference it is for them playing on the road as opposed to home.
They've been involved in some shootouts. Backs out of the eye. Williams and Holmes. Adams is in the slot left. Holmes in motion. They've got to get to the 15. Brown is on the run. Lays it up into the end zone. Through the arms of his intended receiver, Holmes. Holmes might have been the most surprised person on the football field that ball got through Terrence Malone's hands and actually wound up and hit. He had an opportunity to catch that pass. You know, when the ball was up in the air, I thought, if there's an interception here, Oklahoma can simply win with a field goal in their possession in overtime. You don't want to turn the football over in overtime. But watch this. Malone goes up. It goes right over him and right into Priest Holmes' hands. He might have been a little surprised it got through. Now,
I don't think he saw the ball till the end, though.
John, from 43 yards out, Phil Dawson. He's made one today from 47. He's missed one from 43. He is a big-time kicker. Last year he beat Virginia at the wire. And here it comes. Ooh. No problem for Phil Dawson.
Ice in his veins on that one.
So Texas takes a 3-point lead, but hold on. Oklahoma has an opportunity to equal or better. They do get a possession. One more look at Phil Dawson.
Well, this is as true and as smooth a kick as you'll see, especially with all the pressure. As you mentioned, the one against Virginia beat them last year. It was into a stiff wind, and it was over 50 yards. That one with the wind behind him had no problem at all. And this is like a poker game. You know, you have an ante, you put your money down, and now you got to either match it or you got to raise the ante.
Tell you something about Phil Dawson, number 4 right there. He hurt his leg lifting weights in February, had 5 months of rehab, changed his motion to make it more compact, and he feels he is a better kicker. There are some coaches that do not like overtime.
There will be one who won't like it today, I'll tell you that.
Oklahoma's turn now. 1st and 10. James Allen gets to the corner. Allen appears to have the first down near the 15. James Allen had a 49-yard run called back because of a hold that might have given Oklahoma the win in regulation moments ago.
But they went right back to the same play, running over their left side of their offensive line, running to the right side of the Texas defense, and if that ball is past the 15-yard line, which it is a first down.
A look at the defensive coordinator.
So now they're in great field goal range, and now they can try and get the football in the end zone.
Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator for Texas, John, facing a lot of heat. 1st and 10, and Oklahoma is in Texas's end of the stadium. Allen, off tackle to the right side of the line, down to the 13. Hampton making the tackle. And as I mentioned moments ago, as you look at the stadium, Oklahoma on offense in Texas's end of the stadium. It is split right down the middle.
Yeah, it sure is right here. This is Texas side. This is Oklahoma side. Right now, here's where all the action is. And there are a lot of empty seats in the house because everybody's standing. Man, everybody is just standing, enjoying this football game, and wondering if the Sooners are going to get the touchdown or try a field goal attempt. You know, they can just keep running the football and try to get the football in the end zone that way. They really don't have to risk anything with a pass play. But again, that puts the pressure on their kicker. He's 3 for 3 so far today. Jeremy Alexandra.
Phil Dawson, meanwhile, making a field goal moments ago from 43 yards out. He is 2 of 3 today. Burnt orange and white, crimson and cream on one side. Allen down to the 9-yard line, brought down by Mosier. Number 95, who came back into the game after being hurt earlier.
Keep in mind now the ball's on the right hash. They've had success running left. And you don't want to get the place kicker in a tough angle when you get down this far in the football field. So a lot of things at work here with John Blake, Dick Winder, and they may call a timeout. You know, they get a timeout, so they may consider what they want to do in terms of field position and where the ball is on the football field by talking it over with their coaches.
They've got to get to the 3-yard line. I'll call it the 2.5-yard line for the first down. We're in overtime, and Texas leads by a field goal. But Oklahoma has an opportunity to tie it or score a touchdown.
And the coaches want a timeout on the sidelines. Nobody's watched. Finally, the players look over. They know that, you get a timeout every drive. Fuente's trying to figure out what the coaches want.
If I'm John Blake,
and there's an awful lot of discussion here amongst the officials anyway, despite the fact that Oklahoma wants a timeout.
If I'm John Blake and I want a timeout, I'm not taking any chances. I'm setting up a flare on the sidelines. Here's the call. Try and straighten this out. Our official, Tom Allers, to try and sort this thing out. Let's go downstairs to Dean.
Guys, confusion on the Oklahoma sidelines. They believe that it is second down.
Oh, it is second down, sure. And I mean, there was one play run, and that was for a first down. That was when Allen ran it for just over 10 yards. Then they ran another play, and the officials are going through right now. I can't recall another play.
That's interesting. This almost brings back memories of Colorado and Missouri a few years ago when there was the notorious fifth down situation.
Right. You see the left hand of the official right here. That's what they use to count downs. They use a little strap that they put around their fingers for first down, second down, third down. And I think in the overtime confusion, the official lost count. It's the referee, Tom Ehlers. And, I think the whole crew had a question as to, what happened.
Guys, still confusion. One linesman here on the left 10 or left 12 has second down. The other has third. Unbelievable that, I'm down here. I'm having trouble keeping up with the downs, but it's unbelievable that the officials don't know what down it is.
Well, the first play, Dean, was 11 yards.
Right.
And a first
Move
down.
The chains.
The second one was Allen for 2. Then the third play was 2 yards.
So it should be third down. You're right.
It is third.
Allen ran to the left side for 2 yards. Then he ran to the right side for 2 yards. So it's third down. I stand corrected on that, and the officials should be too.
Dick Winter is more upset over the stoppage of play. He likes his fast-paced offense where it takes 5 seconds to run a play. He's as perturbed about that as he is what down it is.
Well, I think he should call timeout. I mean, they should get the timeout once they sort out this and get his quarterback over, settle his team down, and get them to run the kind of play they need to run, to either get the ball in the middle of the field or to try to get the ball into the end zone.
After all that discussion, it is indeed third down and 6.
And you saw that strap around the officials, the referees, Tom Ehlers, it was around the third finger. This guy's still wondering. He's hanging on. The guy holding the down marker on the sideline isn't quite sure yet. There you go.
There we go.
He wanted verification.
And how they sprint out of the huddle. 3rd and 6. Fuente, Allen, nice move. He's got the first. James Allen with a little Sooner magic. No flags on the play, and James Allen looked back and said, that one stands.
Chris Carter, 16, is in coverage one-on-one with Allen. Allen will go out here. They're 16 in coverage, and he misses the tackle. This has plagued the Texas defense all year long against Virginia, against Notre Dame. Allen makes him whiff with a good move inside, takes it upfield and gets the first down. And now Oklahoma can win this football game outright.
1st and goal. Full house backfield. The toss to James Allen. Cuts it inside. Touchdown Sooners. The Sooners win. "60 miles away to the north lies the Red River. It meanders across the Texas plain. It separates Oklahoma from Texas. Well, the Sooners have transgressed the border, stormed into Dallas on the state fairgrounds, and smashed the dreams of the nationally ranked Texas Longhorns.